Well, hey, everybody. It is the start of another season, and unfortunately, it's not the start that most of you wanted, as the Suns with a strong second half, and they win it 120 to 116. Let me first of all welcome you to the new season of Sacramento Kings basketball and the post-game shows that we have each and every game right here on If You Don't Like. I'm Napes. We got Ryno in Sacktown, the one and only Jerry Reynolds. Jerry, let's start with you. Give me your impressions.
Well, it was a case of, watching the first half, it looked like the Kings were certainly a much better team than I anticipated they would be. Looked like a serious, maybe playoff contender type thing. And the second half looked like, quite honestly, the worst team in the West because they were just totally dominated. And I just felt like, we just saw the team in the second half kind of get away from the ball movement that we saw in the first half. A lot of dribbling, a lot more one-on-one play, and then of course defensively, all of a sudden, basically the Suns were able to break down the Kings defense and really kick out for those open threes, which of course they had in the first half and didn't make, but they made them in the second. So overall, very, very disappointing because because it was a collapse in the second half.
Ryan?
100%. The only thing that I can add to it is the Kings had the Suns on their heels in the first half. They had multiple points of attack. They were putting the ball in the court with purpose. And in the second half, it completely shifted between the third and fourth quarter, 50 to 26 run in 17 minutes and 31 seconds of basketball.
Well, my take is I thought the first half was more of the Suns missing shots than anything the Kings were doing. I was watching the Suns telecast, and Eddie Johnson, who, Jerry, you know very well because you coached him and was with Sacramento, and he's the longtime TV analyst. He kept on pointing that out in the first half, that the Suns were getting good shots. They just weren't making them, particularly their three ball. I actually thought the Kings should have had a bigger lead going into half. I thought they dominated the first half because they were making shots. Levine was unbelievable. Monk was incredible. And the Suns were just getting good shots, but they were missing them. And I just felt like the lead should have been 20 or more going into the second half. Ryan, what do you think of that?
I agree with that more so in the second quarter. I thought some of the threes were wide open, but Jerry, in the first quarter, I thought the on-ball defense and the closeouts were pretty darn good.
Yeah, I did too. I really thought they're, fresh legs and all, but I thought they made it really tough on the Suns. But I'd agree with Grant's point. I mean, I thought, when you look at the totality of the half, Kings should have been up 20. And then if you get a little bit of a jump in the third quarter, you probably can't get the comeback. But, they just the fact they were able to cut it to 14 and a half, I think was a real key.
Well, the other key, and again, I'm not sugarcoating anything. I'm just telling you, you want to talk about the effect of not having Sabonis and Murray on the floor? Wow. I mean, if you want to talk about what that means, they're going to have a tough time winning on Friday against the Jazz. But, I mean, you see what the absence of Keegan Murray's defense does. I mean, they missed that so much in this game. And Doug kept on going to different combinations down low. You also didn't have Isaac Jones. That was on full display tonight, guys, that the absence of those two players.
Yeah, you would have had Isaac Jones in there instead of Cardwell. Or Cantwell there late, and of course, but to your point, Grant, I couldn't agree more. I mean, the rebounding, they just couldn't keep them off the offensive board.
No.
Now, with Domas, Domas and Keegan, that's just isn't a factor at all. They're not going to get all those second shots, and so, but that's what happens when you're a small team and all of a sudden your two best bigs aren't available.
And I think we have to recognize this was about as good of a small ball matchup as you could have gotten for the Kings situation right now. And all this negative that we've talked about in the second half, they lose by 4, yet every practice, Jerry and Grant, ends with the Kings on the baseline, shooting free throws. If you miss, the team runs. And tonight they were 13 from 23 from the stripe.
Yeah, and good free throw shooters. I mean, DeMar, he's been a great free throw shooter his entire career, and just didn't make them. Of course, the other side was Booker, who's been great his career. He didn't make them either till the stretch, and then he made them.
Yeah, he was 10 of 15, which is like that's just unheard of for Devin Booker. I think both teams can look at the free throw line. I thought the start of this game was very ragged. You could see it was game number one where the guys are like, okay. I thought both teams were extremely ragged. I thought there were very too many unforced turnovers in the first 6 minutes, and then I really thought the Kings settled down. And Zach LaVine was so good really until the fourth quarter. And I don't want to say he was bad, but with Zach, it's either making shots or missing shots. And it just wasn't there in the fourth quarter. This is a tough loss to swallow, guys, because the Phoenix Suns are one of those teams, along with the opponent Friday against the Jazz, that are projected to be below you in the standings. And yes, you were without two starters; they were without one starter. But when you go back and look at this game and you go back and look at the video, this is going to be very difficult to digest when they have to watch film tomorrow, because this game was there for the taking, Ryan.
Yeah, it really was. You got a two-way guy in Dylan Cardwell that was playing major minutes. Did anybody have him on the five or in the five that would be on the court at the end of the game?
No.
Jerry, I guess back to Grant's point with Zach LaVine, with such a great first half, do you feel like the Kings went away from him a little too much in the third quarter?
I think there's two things. I do think they went away from him a little too much. And to credit Phoenix, they did a much better job of keeping him from turning the corner and getting to the basket. You know, he was able to get to the basket pretty easy there in the first half, and just about everything he got in the second half was really long threes and all. But your point's right. I thought the Kings could have done, you know, and I think that when they look at the tape, they'll realize that they could have done more to get him shots and get him a little better shots, you know, because he had some pretty tough ones. Of course, he can make tough ones, but he didn't get the same quality shots the second half.
Well, I hope this is not a trend that we're going to see every night. Keon Ellis only played 13 minutes. And I'm sorry, they're not as good when he's not on the floor. And 13 minutes is not going to get it done. You know, I'm sorry. I'm going to keep on going back to this, and I'm not going to go crazy over one game. But I'd much rather have Keon Ellis on the floor than Russell Westbrook. Okay, I'm sorry. And you saw what happened tonight. Westbrook, with only 2 practices, played 19 minutes. He was 2 of 8 from the floor. He missed a free throw. Yes, I know what his presence can be on the floor, but I'm sorry. I don't think the Kings are better, guys, when Keon Ellis is not on the floor.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. I mean, Keon Ellis needs to play 30 minutes every night. I said it last year.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it this year. You know, he's a 40% three-point shooter. He's really your best perimeter defender. And I don't know, it seems like every time he plays, he helps you. You know, and it's like, this is a team that really needs consistent three-point shooting, which he provides, and it needs an outstanding defense, which he provides. I don't know. I'm lost here.
Well, the national media will tell you that's what got Mike Brown fired, right? And Keon, when he came into this game, he's what got the Kings out in transition. He was active. He was one of the few guys that was actually picking up the 94 feet and doing it somewhat effective. I'd hate to see Doug go down this road that we have seen, because the stats say it, our eyes say it. Keon Ellis needs to be on the floor, like you said, Jerry, 30 minutes a night.
I don't understand it. I do not understand that. And if this is going to be the trend, it is going to be a long season. It just is. And Jerry, you've always said this. You win by having your best players on the floor. We've seen enough of Keon Ellis over the stint that he's been with Sacramento that he's one of their better players, and he needs to be on the floor. You've always said it. Put your best players on the floor.
And he's one of them. You can't find 5 better than he is, or more valuable. And he's perfect with some of the guys who are more a little more thirsty offensively, because he can play without the ball on offense and still be productive.
Jerry, before we let you go, and I know that you got to get to bed, and we appreciate that, because I want you to be I want you to be fresh for Friday. But if you don't mind, because I talked a lot about this on my show today, and yesterday I had Joe Klein on, and I said I would ask you this question. I already know the answer, but when you traded Joe Klein and Ed Pinckney to Boston for Danny Ainge and Brad Lohaus, you knew that Joe was at the hospital. You knew that his wife was getting ready to have their first baby, but you still called him, and I know why. But was that as difficult as any phone call as you've ever had to make?
You know, actually, I didn't really know that where he was. I mean, I knew that there's a possibility of it, but that was very difficult. And as you know, I've told you many with the Ed Pinckney one, he broke down and cried.
I know, I was there. I saw it.
He and his wife just loved being in Sacramento, and a lot of fans wouldn't, or media wouldn't understand that, because you're going to a contender, and he didn't really want to do it. But that was Bill Russell was the general manager at the time, which really, quite honestly, it kind of offended.
He should have called him.
He made the trade, and he should have called him, but he had told me to, and so I did. But not one of my prouder moments.
Yeah. Jerry, thank you so much. I love the fact that you joined us here to kick off the season, and I'll look forward to talking to you and Ryan on Friday, and hopefully the Kings can get going at home. But this is a tough matchup, Jerry. The Jazz destroyed the Clippers tonight, and they do have guys down low that can play. One named Laurie Markkinen and Kessler. This is not going to be, as tough as tonight was. These matchups do not favor Sacramento without Sabonis and Keegan on the floor Friday night.
No, it's going to be tough, and I really enjoyed being with you guys. And
thank you.
There'll be better nights ahead, we hope, and just not the game we wanted to see in the second half. That's for sure.
Yep.
But Friday's a different night. Take care, guys.
Appreciate you, Jerry. Take care. Good stuff from Jerry Reynolds. We invite your phone calls. We've got a lot of people on hold. So in a nutshell, and I said this earlier, and I'm going to say it again for those of you that weren't listening on Fox Sports Sacramento today, I'm not going to go crazy over this loss. I've said, and I've been on record for the last couple of weeks, that I think this is going to be a very difficult year. Okay, I think, and I actually used the word disaster. I think this is going to be a really tough year, but I'm going to wait and judge this team, Ryan, on 5-game increments. I can't just ignore the fact that 2 of your top players and your best player was not on the floor tonight, and you still went down to the wire. So I'm not going to go crazy. My projections on this team are not very high to begin with. So, I'm not going to lose sleep over this, but I know a lot of Kings fans are, and I respect that.
Well, yeah, I'm not going to lose sleep over it either, but in the grand scheme of things, with the month of November this team has, the injuries that we've well covered already on Fox and tonight with Jerry, this was one you had to have.
Yep.
This was a no-brainer. So
let's get to Dirk. Dirk, you'll start us off. How are you? You're on with Napes and Ryno.
I was better in the first half, but how are you guys?
Good, man. We're doing fine. It's one game.
We saw the best version of ISO ball in the first half, but that doesn't really it's not gonna lead to victories. But looking over my notes on the game, I think some critical coaching errors down late. I'm not sure why at the 6-minute mark left in the fourth quarter we pulled Devin Eubanks or Eubanks out of the game. To me, he was making a defensive impact. We had back-to-back possessions where he and on one play got the block, and then Neek or him got the block, and he just made some bad offensive choices when he got down the other side of the floor. I think our rookie bigs look terrible.
He's a two-way guy.
Expected.
He's two-way, and he's tough as hell. That is why Doug kept him in, because the game was getting chippy. That is Dylan's MO. He said he'll take a fine as long as the vets cover it. And it wasn't just certain guys. Dennis Schroeder, that 3-pointer with 4 minutes left, a pull-up transition 3, Dirk, and you're down 4 points. That blew my mind. It's like, come on.
Yeah, I would have liked to. The roster construction's the root of all the evils here. Because I would like to have seen more of Neek late, because Neek was rebounding, and that's where we were deficient. And Eubanks wasn't rebounding the ball, but neither were our rookie bigs. And then the lack of Keon. I mean, that hurts my soul that Keon Ellis played 13 minutes. He's 4 of 5. He's showing mid-range game now. He had that confident couple baskets in the mid, and
I've been saying it all week. I've been saying it all week, and I'm going to say it again. And I'm not anti-Russell Westbrook. I acknowledge his career, and I understand that he can still play. But that move makes 0 sense to me for this Sacramento Kings team, because what it does is it takes minutes away from Keon Ellis. And, we also talk about defense. We're not going to see your 5th guard ever get onto the floor in Carter. I mean, that's not going to happen. But it leaves me scratching my head, but it is what it is. He's on the team, and Doug Christie is going to have to figure it out. But as Jerry said, and Jerry knows this stuff a lot better than me and a lot better than Ryno, I also like to use common sense. Common sense would tell you, forget about the analytics. just your eyes and common sense would tell you that the Kings are better when Keon Ellis is on the floor and playing a substantial number of minutes. Just it, period.
And this is Dirk. I just want to add this. This is where I have a difficult time with Doug Christie being a basketball player, playing the game. You know, Westbrook, his legs were not there clearly in the third quarter. He was short in the lane multiple times. How you not make that move, make that adjustment, and push those minutes somewhere else
makes no sense.
Feels like it's above him. Anyways.
Dirk, we got a lot of calls. Well, I'll give you the final word.
I'll see you later. Bye.
All right.
Thanks, Dirk.
Take care. Yeah, I'm with you on that. Just too many minutes in the first game. Too many minutes. So, oh, wow. Man, you ready to get to some more calls?
Yeah, let's do it. Justin, thanks for waiting.
Hey, Justin.
Hey, how you guys doing today?
We've been better, but, you know, there's 81 games left. And I don't know if that's good or bad, but there are 81 games left.
That's for sure. I will say I get that it's hard without Sabonis, like not having kind of an offensive style, because Christie was coached with Mike Brown, and I'm sure he's kind of used to a very motion-based offensive style. The thing that I wish that they really did, Levine was so hot in the first half. Like, he was on fire, especially in the second half. And it's mind-blowing to me that they didn't go to him in the third quarter to try to get him going. You know, like, you would want your hottest shooter to stay hot to continue that momentum carrying into the first half. And I think what happened is they took a lot of turns trying to decide, okay, who's going to be the number one guy to go to in the third quarter. And that really stagnated their offense. And then the other thing I know we've kind of been beating on Keon not playing, but it was tough seeing Monk get hunted on every single defensive play in the third quarter. You know, they especially Allen and Booker, they were swapping on pick and rolls to get him on the one-on-one. And I mean, that's what really sparked Phoenix's run to get them back in the game.
Yeah. 66-45 was the score of the second half. 66-45. Yeah. We talk about defense, right? We talk about, you know, we want them to feel us, and it's going to be very difficult without Keegan Murray. But if you want them to feel you, put Keon Ellis on the floor for more than 13 minutes, and that will help quite a bit.
Are we complaining as much about Keon getting 13 minutes if Russ had 13 minutes?
I don't think Russ should be playing at all. That's my opinion right now. I don't think he should be playing at all. I don't think that right now, you know, with two practices and a guy not being with the team until just a couple of days ago, I don't personally, I would say, you know, we need to get you in condition. We need to get you in your quote unquote basketball shape. I understand his name is Russell Westbrook, but, you know, the goal right now, because of the schedule that's coming up beginning Tuesday in Oklahoma City, which is Murderer's Row for 4 weeks without Keegan Murray, you've got to win these games. These are the games that you're going to look back on and go, gosh. And you got Utah, who everyone thinks is the worst team in the West. They destroyed the Clippers tonight. They didn't just beat them. They embarrassed them. And so maybe they're better than we think, and they're coming in Friday. Could you imagine if you have to go into the Lakers game on Sunday already 0-2? Because the Lakers could very well be an 0-2 because they play Minnesota on Friday. And then you have to get on the plane and go start a road trip at Oklahoma City, and you have Minnesota and Denver on that trip. Or Milwaukee and Denver on that trip? Are you kidding me?
It's good. Rough. The bright spot is you got to get Isaac Jones back, because by the time you play the Lakers, we've already seen they're going to try to target you above the rim. Yep. You have to have him back in the lineup. Go ahead, Justin.
Now, I do have one question, then I'll hop off. Do you think, and I don't want to overreact by any means, but I remember talking to Grant earlier before the season started that, you know, Monk's $78 million deal for 4 years was starting to look a little bad because, you know, shooting guards that are all offense and don't really have a lot of defensive potential or impact were kind of being overvalued. Now, I know this is only the first game of the season, but do you think that if the Kings get off to a really, really bad start, that Monk's contract or value will be expendable, especially if there is a push to get Keon's minutes in substitute of Monk's? Thanks again.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Ryan?
I don't think Monk's contract's going to be hurt whatsoever. I think there's still going to be a market for him. You have to realize, and we talked about this, Grant, today on the radio, that the Kings were approaching teams about Malik Monk. It was not teams approaching the Kings. Right. And that's going to change as the season goes on.
All right, let's get to BJ. What's going on? You're on with Grant and Ryan.
Hey guys, how's it going?
What's happening?
I a couple of things on Keon, and I don't want to make it a Keon show, but I agree with you, Grant, that Westbrook playing right now, especially in the critical minutes, he just contributed to the low basketball IQ. I thought he made some bad decisions, and it became contagious. And for me, it's like I would have liked to have seen Carter out there. At least he's in shape, and I like his defensive tenacity, and he's got a nose for the ball.
Yeah,
I
he's not
don't.
part of the rotation, and he's not going to be part of the rotation. And that was made abundantly clear when they acquired Russell Westbrook that Carter is not part of the equation. So you might want to see him. I may want to see him. Jerry, right? It's not going to happen. Not unless there's an injury in front of him. He's not getting on the floor.
Yeah, that makes me think that really that this call. I don't see Doug Christie as a basketball player, and people that have played basketball up to higher level. Why would Doug Christie throw Westbrook out there in these types of minutes? It just doesn't make any sense to me. And honestly, it almost seems like Jock Sniffer's kind of meddling, and he would want Westbrook out there because he ended up picking him up. To me, it just seems kind of weird, and I don't want to go overboard. We got to take this season 5 games at a time. And the big thing for me with the first half that I felt was a big negative for the Kings was the Suns were missing most of their shots. They were getting wide open. They got to
Wide
any
open.
spot. They
Wide
got to
open.
any spot that they wanted to get to. When we start playing other teams, even teams in the East, when they just get to a spot,
They're
it's
going to
going to
make
be
their shots. Yep.
yeah, they're going to make their shot. So that to me, I mean, if we're a defensive, get in their face and get in their jock type of team, we're going to have to stop them early. You don't just let them get to a spot. You got to bump them. You have to get up in them.
Well,
And
two of your most physical players are out. I mean, we've
true,
got to keep that into context as well.
Yep.
true.
Yep.
That's why we got to take it 5 games at a time. And it's I'm so glad you guys are on. It
Thank you,
makes
buddy.
it a lot funner. So love you guys.
Thank you.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it very much.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate
BJ.
it very much. I appreciate all of you joining us right here. It's great to have you on as we're going to be doing this each and every game. And we appreciate your support right here on If You Don't Like That. Before we continue on, I want to tell you about New Works Plumbing. They've got a fix for you, and they are available around the clock 24/7. Water heaters, water line repair, sewer repair, water filtration, gas lines. Call the number on your screen, 916-73-1010 or newworksplumbing.com, NEWWRXplumbing.com. New Works Plumbing. They've got a fix for you. No fix for the Kings in the second half tonight. They were beat up and they were just taken over by the Suns. And the crowd really got into it in the fourth quarter. And that's what home court advantage is.
Over under on coming out of that read this season saying no fix for the Kings tonight.
Oh my gosh. Rabini, man, good to have you on. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful, Grant. Thanks for being here. You too, Ryan, man. Listen,
Yeah, man.
I was supposed to go to the game today out here in Arizona. So happy I didn't because my boys will be calling me. I'm in a group chat with 2 of my guys, right, who are Kings fans. And we said when we were up by 20, and we text each other like, "Is this going to be another Kings game?" And we look what happened, another Kings game. Now, the thing that gets me very frustrated is that Doug Christie threw Russell Westbrook out there to give us more energy and give us some more effort, and he did the complete opposite. Grant, I know that you like Doug and that you guys are, guys have a copacetic relationship. He has to go. You know where you're up 20 points, 22 points, how much we was, and you let them come back. It felt like I was telling my guys that it felt like we were in the Lifetime Fitness. We was watching Lifetime Fitness game where we just shooting up shots and just praying that it scores. I
Yeah,
was very
I'm not
disappointed.
firing the coach after one game. Okay. I mean, I have to also be cognizant of the fact that they were without 2 of their very best players in Keegan Murray and Domantas Sabonis. So I'm not going to, just say Doug can't coach. Everyone knows how I feel about Doug and how he got the job. And again, I'm going to just simplify it. He wouldn't have had an interview with any of the other 29 teams in the league had the Kings not given him the job. At the end of last season when they lost to Dallas before they hired Scott Perry, he was given the job. Had that not occurred and they decided that they were going to hire a new coach, Doug would not have had an interview anywhere in the league. So, I mean, we have to acknowledge what we're dealing with here. But with that said, I'm not going to start a fire Doug Christie campaign after one game. That's ridiculous.
I understand. I understand. I see it as we're doing the same thing as last year. If you're not even talking about closing games during preseason or during the aspect of coming off of, hey, let's have a different, a different attitude for the fans. If we're sitting down, we're all like in the back of our head, yeah, we can blow another lead. The culture has not changed. The culture has not changed. We're not finishing games, man. I feel like I thought when we got Westbrook, okay, he's gonna help bring that gritty attitude era. Now
Yeah.
we're expecting who? How do you change a culture, right? We already say we gotta get rid of the number one guy at the very, very top to help change that culture, but we can't do that. If you can't coach and help motivate these guys, he called a good timeout when they cut the lead down to 10. I'm like, okay, Doug, that's kind of a little bit too late, but we should have did that a little bit earlier to change it up. But how do you change the culture? Because the culture is the same because everybody was saying the same thing, you know?
Well,
Well,
you can't change.
it doesn't happen overnight. Ryan,
Yeah,
go ahead.
exactly. You took the words out of my mouth, and especially in one game too.
Yeah. Hey, we appreciate you calling the show as always, man. You have a good night. Okay.
Hey, Rab, before you go, and maybe we asked, how did the marathon go?
I listen. I when I started the marathon, I was 185 pounds. I'm down to 168. Just know that.
Wow.
Wow. That was all the sweat you lost from the
Yes,
marathon?
yes. And
Wow.
I'm supposed to be signed up for the Chicago one, but I'm not going to do that. That was a one and done
So you
thing.
went, whoa. So you lost, you were 185 to 168. Okay. I'm leaving, guys. I'm going to go run a marathon right now and see if I can lose that much weight. Okay.
Don't do
But
that,
my problem is my starting weight's not
Okay.
185. So I'm just going to put that out there.
Yeah, but Rab lost like 10 pounds with the hair.
man. Facts.
So,
Facts,
just saying.
right? Facts.
take
I
care,
see you
buddy.
guys, man. Have a good
All
one.
right, Rab.
All right. Be good. I love him. He's great.
He's
He
good
really
stuff.
is. Just
Huge
so
thing.
frustrating. So frustrating to start the season this way when you have a big lead and everything's rolling, and then all of a sudden, before you know it, you're losing.
Yeah, and look, there's a small media contingent that traveled to this one. I went off screen to see if I could hear what Doug was saying. We'll have the opportunity to ask them tomorrow some of these questions about minutes and such. But it becomes, you have to look for trends. That's why we do 5 games, right? And
I do. Yeah.
hopefully we can get a few answers. Big thanks to the over 876 watching on X. We've got 441 on YouTube. If you don't mind, give us a big thumbs up. We would appreciate it. Also, make sure you subscribe if you are not if you don't like that. Grant, we're going to be here for 81 more, right?
Yeah, we're going to be doing them all. And I know a lot of people asked about why we weren't on at halftime. And quite frankly, for the 7:00 games, I'm not against that. Ryan's doing like 5 jobs right now. And so, I got to make sure that, I don't put him into the intensive care unit in hospital from work exhaustion. So that's part of it. But I could, let me think about it. I'll put my head together with Ryno. And the other issue is, Ryno's going to be going to a lot of the home games, and he's going to be doing a lot of the post-game shows from the arena. So, if you really want that, if it's very important to you, let us know on the chat line. Hit us up. You've got our X accounts
Handles.
right there on the screen. You can send us a message via X, and we can always make adjustments, because the reality is we're doing this show for you, and we want you to be happy, and we want this thing to be the number one destination. I think it already is, but we want this to be the number one destination for Kings Talk, particularly after the games. And so that's where we're at. We're really zeroing in on that.
Yeah, and if you want a pregame, it's really, really simple. All you got to do is download the Fox Sports Sacramento app, 3 to 6 o'clock, Grant Napier's show. If you didn't know, Grant is back here in Sacktown. So that's the place where you can catch us on the radio as well.
All right, can you put the link up? Somebody wants the number, the link. It's not a phone number, it's just a link. So if you want to call the show, we would love to have you on. And while you do that, I don't know about you all, but this would make me feel a lot better if I was at Bennett's having one of their prime New Yorks. That would pretty much get the bad taste out of my mouth in about 2 seconds. Bennett's, whether it's Sacramento, Roseville, or the West Side Grill in Rockland, prime seafood and steaks at Bennett's. Make sure you go to Bennett'sRestaurants.com. So thankful for everyone that has reached out to us with the messages about they've gone there and they've loved it, and going anniversaries and birthdays and special occasions, and then just to go for lunch and everything else. Prime seafood and steak at Bennett's. That's Bennett'sRestaurants.com.
Yes, indeed. We move along. Casey, thanks for calling the show.
Hey,
Hey, Casey.
hey, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Hey, so Grant, first of all, we miss you on the broadcast. Let me just say
Thank
that.
you. Thank you.
Yep. So we want Russell Westbrook to get burned in the fourth, right? Like, why don't you like him?
It's not that I don't like him. Okay. When I make a comment about a player, it's not that I don't like him. I just don't think that he's better than Keon Ellis. And I think at this point, Keon Ellis is ready to go. He's had a full camp. He's in tip-top shape, and he does what you need. And also, he made 4 or 5 shots tonight. I personally think at this stage, not 3 years ago, not 5 years ago, not 10 years ago, right now in 2025, in my opinion, Keon Ellis is a better basketball player than Russell Westbrook and would do more to help the Kings win games than Russell Westbrook.
I totally agree. Thank you, Grant.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Here's the other thing, too. What did Doug Christie preach to us all throughout training camp? Best conditioned team in the league, right? Keon Ellis went through that entire camp. Russell Westbrook did not go through a day of it. So you've got to ramp him up.
You know what was very apparent again tonight was the Kings' subpar athleticism compared to the Suns. Okay, you look at all the offense, and I know Murray wasn't on the floor, and I know Sabonis, but I'm talking about the jumping. I'm talking about the way they play. They're very quick to the ball. They're all over the place. They're lively. I thought much more so, or at least somewhat so, than Sacramento. And I think we're going to be talking a lot about that throughout this season.
I thought it was more in the second half that you saw that defensively. I'm not going to, water down what the Kings or what Phoenix did, I guess, athletically, but they missed 14 threes in the first half, Grant, and that means a lot of long rebounds. That's a lot of space.
That's very true. Very true. But I think what needs to be pointed out, and I'll go back and watch the game again and track them. It's hard to do when you're watching live. Most of those threes were open looks that were just missed threes. They weren't contested threes. Like Phoenix did not shoot the ball poorly in the first half because of what Sacramento was doing. They just weren't. Go back and watch the video. Their 3-pointers were open.
I will meet you in the middle here. It was either contested or wide open. There was nothing in the middle, and it felt like in the first quarter there were a lot more contested looks than there actually were in the second.
Well, there were too many. There were too many open looks. And again, I was watching the Phoenix Suns telecast, and I thought Eddie Johnson was spot on. He made the comment 3 or 4 times in the first half. He's like, hey, it's not anything the Kings are doing. The Suns are missing shots. And if they just stick with it, they're going to get right back in this game because the Kings defensively are not good enough. And he made that comment, and I was like, wow. And then guess what? The Suns started making the shots. They got back into the game, and they ended up winning the game.
I mean, what did Phoenix shoot for the game? 29.4% from beyond the arc.
But they shot 29.4% from the arc because they missed a lot of wide open threes.
All right, fair enough.
They didn't miss 20. They didn't shoot 29% because the Kings had hands in their face and they were all on them. I mean, again, if you go back and watch the game and just count how many of their 29 threes were what you would call by NBA standards open 3-point shots.
Yeah,
there were a lot of them.
Yeah,
a lot of them.
I remember a lot of them. You are right. You are right about that. I'm just saying it looked better early on than it has.
Yeah,
it did at points last season.
And aren't you tired of watching Dylan Brooks?
Unless he's on your team. It's getting old though, the DeMar DeRozan stuff. And the problem is, Grant, he has somebody like that on every team that they play against. All other 29 teams, there's somebody he is targeting.
Well, give Phoenix credit. They stayed in the game. And they started to make some shots. They forced a couple of turnovers, and they got stops when they needed them. And the Kings just could not, a couple of missed free throws down the stretch really hurt. Just really frustrating when you go back and think about how they lost this game.
The third quarter offense too. I just felt like it was something out of the preseason. It was something out of the last 10 to 15 games last season, the Dallas game. It's like, how do you go from that first quarter, second quarter, and then go to third? What do you always say with the New York Giants, the prevent offense before Jackson Dart got in?
Yeah.
It kind of felt like that.
I thought the Kings shot, well, I don't think, I know. They made all their threes for the most part. Levine was on fire. Monk was on fire. When DeRozan wanted to post up, he was able to and get to a spot. And while that was all going on, the Suns were missing shots. They were playing, in my opinion, carelessly. And there was that couple of moments in the third quarter, I want to say a 3-minute span, where all of a sudden, they were down 20. And then all of a sudden they were within 12 and they started feeling confident. They started going, wow, here we are. It's only a 12-point game. And they just kept on pecking away and pecking away. And it was hard to watch because it just was like the roof was caving in on Sacramento.
50-26 over a 17-minute and 31-second span in the second half.
What was that again?
50-26 over a 17-minute and 31-minute span between the third quarter and start of the fourth quarter.
Wow.
Crazy. Let's go to Raheem. Thanks for taking the time tonight, Raheem.
Thank you for the call. Just had a quick question about the Sacramento Kings. Russell Westbrook dated a white lady.
A couple of the messages. We lose again like this at home versus the Jazz, then I would be worried. Yeah, I mean, if you start off 0-2, you're going to be very, very bitter because when the schedule came out, you were thinking, okay, with the November schedule that lies ahead, you better go 2-0 to start the season. And now you're hoping to go 1-1. Now, before these two games started, I said I would take 1-1 and not even play the two games. But now the Jazz, in my opinion, of all of the games that were played tonight, the Jazz score was the most surprising.
Yeah. Yeah. What about Walker Kessler?
Boy.
That's the thing. He's up and down tonight. He was up.
Well, and he normally plays well against Sacramento. And then we know about Laurie Markkanen. So the Kings better fasten their seatbelts on Friday night.
But that's the thing. You've got to, if you're Doug Christie, approach it from a different rotation angle to a degree. Now, I do think what Doug did tonight worked. That was the other thing. In the first half, he played 11 guys, and I thought he kept a constant flow coming at Phoenix, and then that slowed down in the third quarter. In fact, Max, I believe, was the first guy off the bench in the third, and now you have to adjust your game plan because you've got those two bigs that you're going to be
Max
playing
looked
against.
a little lost on the floor tonight at times. I'm not like – I have to look at the big picture with him. You want him to get experience, but his what did he play? 11 minutes tonight?
Max played 11:29. Yeah.
It's just they weren't 11 minutes that were good, and I understand what Doug's trying to do, but I don't. When Domantas Sabonis gets back very soon, hopefully, and if Isaac Jones is there, I'm not sure Max is going to be part of the rotation for a while. His turn will come. He'll get his opportunities, but I'm not so sure it's going to be for a while, Ryno.
He's a second-round pick, Grant.
Yeah.
I think we had high expectations because of what we saw in Summer League. He's got the basketball IQ. I've watched him in training camp, in practice, bang with Sabonis. The parts are there. He just needs a little bit longer to put it together.
All right. Again, we're so happy that you're with us. We wish the news was better as the Kings lose 120-116 in an atrocious second half for Sacramento as they got just destroyed, with Phoenix putting 66 second half points on the board.
Yep. I
said I wouldn't let Doug coach my daughter's middle school team. Well, that's a shame that you would say that. You can't make a comment like that after one game. We should have signed Mozgov while Sabonis is hurt. Well, it would have been nice to have Valanciunas, but you gave him away. Sabonis should take all the time he needs to get 100% healthy. He really does, and I think that's very important. Dario Saric's minutes were ineffective. Totally agree. Keegan Murray, beginning of December, hopefully. That would be nice. Absolutely. The Kings lose will be heard often this season. Maybe.
Yeah.
I've seen enough of Dario Saric. I mean, he's not a guy that should be playing meaningful minutes right now. And I know that you're down 3 big, so I'm not. I understand you have to put someone on the floor. I get that. He's not a player that I have confidence in watching his NBA career, especially where he is now. He might be great in the locker room. He might be all of that, but I'm not confident putting him on the floor right
Well,
now.
he
I'm just
wouldn't
not.
be on the floor if the Kings were healthy.
No, that's what I'm saying. He won't be
Yeah.
playing. He's not a guy that we're going to be talking about on the post-game show very often.
In fact, I would probably make an argument if the Kings have a healthy roster, you'll see Doug McDermott before you see Dario.
Yes, I would agree with that. Totally agree. Yep, totally agree.
So,
well, these are hard games to digest because you understand that we should be all talking about a 1-0 team instead of 0-1. And even though you were without two key guys, and they were without one, Jalen Green's going to be real key for them. You just let this game slip through your hands. That's just the reality.
Yep. And keep an eye. There's a little bug running through this team right now.
Yeah.
Hopefully between now and Utah, it doesn't affect anybody else, but I think it's hit about 3 or 4 of them now. Malik, Max, Isaac, me.
Which can also affect your conditioning a little bit. So,
Absolutely.
That's it. All right, take the optimism out, take the feelings out of it. The Kings are a bad team. Grant agreed that Doug is not qualified for the job when the Kings put him as the head coach. I said that he should not have been the coach, and I still feel that way, but I'm not on the internet and I'm not on Fox Sports Sacramento saying that, he needs to be replaced. Okay, that's not what I'm saying. There are two different things. I'm saying he shouldn't have gotten the job in the first place. He wasn't ready for it, in my opinion, and I still feel that way. But I don't think he should be no longer the head coach just because they lost to the Phoenix Suns. I don't think this Kings team is very good. I didn't think they were going to be very good before the injuries, and I don't think the pieces fit. I'm not ready to bury the team after one game because I think that's stupid and ridiculous. But I've been pretty consistent with my talk over this training camp. I think it's going to be a disaster of a season.
Below not good.
And I think what's going to happen is if you get off to a bad start and it snowballs in November, you're going to have your vets telling their agents, get me out of here. That's what's going to happen. And then it's going to be really difficult for Doug Christie to coach this team.
Sam Amick reported it, and I saw it from where I sit because I'm not with the cool kids yet. But there were a lot of scouts that were at some of the preseason games, and I think you'll start to see the vultures circling, and you're already seeing them at Kings games now. A Wizards guy was there, I believe. Toronto.
That's not unusual. It's not. Every game in the NBA and every preseason game, and Jerry would know this better than me, has a number of scouts, even preseason. That's not that uncommon. It's just not.
Okay, fair enough. I'm not saying it's uncommon. Sam wrote about it, and I trust Sam.
Yeah, listen,
Sam.
Sam's great. I love Sam, and he's. But I'm just saying, in my experience of announcing NBA basketball for 32 years, and even lately with the technology, I know a lot of the scouts, and I talk to them a lot before games. Jerry talks to them all the time. I mean, Jerry was talking to scouts all the time. It's not. I don't think it's that unusual, personally. I just don't.
All right. Against my better judgment, Casey, welcome to the show.
Hey, one last thing. We started.
No,
your judgment should have been your first instinct. That's for sure.
Yeah, 100.
But let's get back to what you were saying, if you don't mind.
Yes.
So, Sam's one of the best NBA writers in the country. Okay, so let's say forget about what I said. Make believe I didn't talk for a moment. You think the Kings, basically, and I'm paraphrasing, and I'm trying to put everything in a nutshell. The Kings are going to be sellers really soon this year. They're not going to be buyers. And that's really what we're dealing with, correct?
No, I didn't say that. I think that I was going off of your scenario.
Well, I think it's going to happen.
I think teams are starting to see, and I know it's only been one game for most teams. They already know some of the holes. Houston knows they have a hole at point guard. That's going to be something they're going to have to fill. Golden State, they know that they have a couple things to fill. And I think you're going to see some teams excel, Grant, that didn't think they were going to be there. You're going to see some teams that thought they should be there and won't be. and you're going to have people try to make a move at the deadline. And I think there are some appealing pieces on this team. If you're looking for somebody that can score off the bench, be a great sixth man, Malik Monk is one of them. I think the contract is fair. Also, DeMar DeRozan, he's on a partially guaranteed contract next year. Those are pieces that could really help a team in a year where I think the NBA title's kind of up for grabs. It's not a slam dunk that Oklahoma City repeats.
Injuries are going to factor into this a lot, and
Great
every
point.
game, like it has been in the past few years, every game has been so important. You know, when you lose games that you feel like you should win, regardless of who you have on the floor, especially when you have a 20-point lead, those are tough to digest because you're starting to play the best teams in the league here starting next week.
Yeah. Grant, the NBA, the West is just disgusting.
Yes.
It's filthy. So we'll see. Get healthy. We'll judge this team, as you said, by the first 5 games. But people that are saying fire Doug Christie, not yet. Like,
Really?
let's relax. He doesn't even have a full deck of cards to play with right now.
Yeah, I mean, exactly right. We need to be careful with that. Sunrise Landing. Hey, make sure you go to CalusaSunrise.com and a beautiful community in Calusa with 6 models to choose from. Remember, no Mellorews here and no homeowners. Great location in Calusa, adjacent to the Calusa Golf and Country Club. Great access, I-5, Highway 45, Highway 20, a Blazona development project. Check it out by going to CalusaSunrise.com and Sunrise Landing. That's CalusaSunrise.com and Sunrise Landing. The final tonight, 120 to 116. The Kings were up 20, and then they were down, 7? Or was it 9? And then all of a sudden they got right back into it. They
went on a 13-4 run. Yeah.
Yeah. And they couldn't climb back up the mountain to the top.
Yeah. The IQ was better tonight, but there's still a lot to be desired there, especially at your point guard, Dennis Schroeder. He played well, but the IQ, I need it to be higher for who he is and how many stops he's been.
Well, I actually thought he played pretty well tonight, and I thought defensively in the final 5 minutes, he was maybe their best defensive player. He forced Devin Booker into a backcourt violation. He was picking up. He was making them. He was contesting. I like the way he played down the stretch.
Yeah, if he didn't get that ball back, Doug Christie would have never let him hear the end of it because of that 3-pointer that he took. He knew he wouldn't got.
Yeah,
it
that was a bad shot. You're 100% correct, Ryno.
Shot.
Well, you got to think momentum of the game, time of the game, score of the game, and all 3 of those things would have said, "Don't take that shot there."
Well,
that's got to be 32 years old. You got to have better recognition than that.
100%. And when you're in a game like this where you had the big lead, it slipped. You probably only have one realistic chance to make that last run. That was the chance. Now, luckily, the Kings brought it to 110, but that was their real chance down 4 at 96-92.
All right. Casey, you're appealing to come back on the air. And so, like, I'm reading all the chats and people want to hear from you. If you can come back on the air and we're not going to regret it, then I'm fine with trying to put you back on the air. But, you know, our instincts are normally pretty good. Not 100%. I mean, I've been wrong before. All right. So
I have been wrong, too.
So we'll give you another chance. If you call back up, we'll put you on and see what happens. Listen, I'm just going to say we need to stop talking about the head coach position right now because it's not fair to Doug. All right. And it's not fair to him. And you know how I feel about it. But I'm telling you, it's not fair to be talking about replacing Doug Christie after the Kings lost tonight. That's not right. Okay. We can wait a little while for that. Can we not?
Is it unexpected, though?
Put the brakes on.
Is it unexpected, though? Really?
Yeah, but we have to comment on it. I'm going to comment on it tomorrow on the radio show because it's part of my job, and you'll be on with me, and you're going to be at Kings practice. Listen, everyone knows how I feel about Doug being coach of the Kings. I don't think he should be the coach of the Kings. I've been very clear about that. But that doesn't mean like you fire the guy because they lost to Phoenix without Sabonis and Keegan Murray. Come on.
Yeah, no, I was taking a different route. Sometimes the fan base, there's a segment of this fan base, while none more passionate, in my opinion, in the NBA, that immediately goes to the worst spectrum. Fire him, trade him, get rid of him.
Yep.
So it is what it is. All right, Grant, you bring Casey on. I will watch your back with Casey.
Casey,
It's
you're on.
good.
You're on. How are you, Casey?
Hey, doing well. How about yourself, Grant?
Doing well, thank you.
Hey, we started our rookie tonight.
Yeah, and what's wrong with that?
Anything wrong with that? I don't know.
Yeah, what's wrong with starting a rookie? You had your two best players that were not playing on the front line tonight in Keegan Murray and Domantas Sabonis, and their lineup, it was not big, so they went kind of small. What's wrong with that?
Small guard, so you put Monk on there, right?
Well, you can put Keon Ellis
I
out
would
there.
have put
wouldn't
Ellis
started
out
Monk.
there.
Okay, perfect. That's all I gotta say. And we love you, Grant.
Thank you, buddy.
All right,
Appreciate
Casey,
it.
thanks for proving us wrong, buddy.
Thank you,
We
Casey.
like that too.
Have a good night. I don't think the Kings lost the game because they started Nick Clifford,
No.
And they should have started Malik Monk. I don't have to talk for you, Ryan, and I don't have to talk for Jerry. Keon Ellis needs to be playing where the first number of minutes played is at least a 2, not a 1.
100%.
Right? He needs to be playing 20 plus minutes every night. And I don't care who's on the team at the guard level. Make it happen. You're the coach. You know, you are not going to win more games than you lose if you don't play your best players.
You know, if we're going to pick at Russell Westbrook's minutes, I'm going to pick a little bit at Neek's minutes, 23-41. Some of those should have gone to Keon Ellis too.
Totally agree. 100%. Totally agree. I thought Neek was okay. He didn't do anything tonight. I thought his rebounding was pretty good. He got beat on dribble drives too much for my liking. And so that has to get better. But, you know, it's his first game. He's dealing with a lot of emotions too, right? I mean, he's starting in his first NBA game, and it's like there's a lot going on there. So I thought he was jittery in his first appearance, very jittery, and I thought he settled down after that.
Wait till he gets a Friday night at the Golden One Center with Utah. It's going to be exactly the same. But he looked fine. I mean, I thought nerve-wise for the most part.
All right, we're happy that you're with us here. Post-game show. Ryno is going to be very busy tomorrow, aren't you?
Yes, we will have the King's Court tomorrow at 10, and then straight to practice and 3 o'clock with you, partner.
Man, wow. And we've got Thursday Night Football tomorrow on top of everything else with the Vikings and the Chargers. But I think tomorrow is going to be pretty much a Sacramento Kings radio show.
Yes.
Beginning at 3 o'clock. I'm very much looking forward to the sound you get from practice tomorrow.
Yeah, me too. I've got some good questions ready to go.
Yeah, you always do. You always do.
Try.
Dylan Brooks was 2 different players tonight too. Dylan Brooks was awful in the first half. He was so bad. And then he was really largely responsible for them coming back, but he was terrible in the first half.
Yes, he was. He's not that great of a player. I mean, he's a gnat, right? He's tough. You need one of those guys on your team as long as they don't cross the line. He tends to cross it, though. So
someone said, am I going to be okay this season, or am I anticipating a funky season? I'm always okay. Win or lose, I'm fine. I'm doing my job. So I'm okay. Don't worry about me.
We're adding jobs around here. We should Postgame.
Yeah, and look at we got the matching shirts on. Yeah. Mine looks a little bluer than yours, just so you know. It looks a little brighter than yours.
Yeah, that's okay. Maybe your lighting's better.
Yeah, maybe.
You know,
I gotta, illuminate this beautiful face that I have. So that's part of it.
You know, that was on a t-shirt for a very long time. Right there in the middle of it.
Oh my gosh.
All right, take us home tonight, partner.
All right.
Game 1 of 82.
I will. First of all, we appreciate the heck out of your support. Like, it's unbelievable. And we want this to be the destination for your Kings information. Ryan's going to be at practice tomorrow. Make sure you tune in at 3 o'clock on Fox Sports Sacramento, because I will have a lot more based on what I hear from practice. I'm going to say this again. I am about do it, don't say it. Okay? You can have Doug Christie come on after the games and call it unacceptable. And you can have the players say you're going to, guard the 3 better and all of that. Show me, don't tell me. Now, I understand that there's media availability, and I know these guys get tired of answering the same questions every day. And I respect the position that they're in, And the same thing with Doug. And I think Doug does a tremendous job with the media. So I'm not criticizing Doug. What I'm saying is, fellas, show me more than you tell me. Show me. Okay? Because now you have another game on Friday. And if you should start this season with 2 losses against 2 teams that most are projecting to be at the bottom of the West, and you have Luka and the Lakers coming in, you might be getting on that airplane Monday to start a 4-game road trip. OKC, next night Chicago, who looked very good tonight, at Milwaukee, at Denver. You may be looking at a goose egg as we move to your following home game after the Lakers. So if you don't think these games are important, they are important. And that's why tonight's loss, to me, is a really difficult one to take, because I don't see a lot of W's on the board right now. I don't see a lot of W's on the board until you get Keegan Murray back, and you really need Sabonis back. And Sabonis is not playing Friday. And I got to tell you, I doubt that he's going to be playing Sunday, but that's just speculation on my part. I don't know. All right. I hope I'm wrong. I hope he does play on Sunday, but we'll see. Got to figure out a way to win a game on Friday, folks. We'll be here to talk about it. Hope you can join Ryno tomorrow in the King's Court. Then tomorrow at 3 o'clock, Fox Sports Sacramento. A lot of Kings talk. Plus, we'll get you ready for the college and NFL weekend. All right, there it is. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you are new, please subscribe to the channel. You'll always know when we're getting ready to do a show. All right. Thank you, everyone. It's one game. The sun's going to come up tomorrow. Trust me. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Appreciate the heck out of you. For Jerry Reynolds and Ryan in Sacktown, Napes saying so long, everybody. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.